Hi, I'm James Shillinglaw,
And I'm Alan Fine.
and this is Insider Travel Report. So we wanted to do a special holiday edition of Insider Travel Report video. You usually see us individually interviewing CEOs.
Never together.
We're never together, you're right. And we're interviewing travel advisors, we're interviewing GMs across the country, we're interviewing on cruise lines, river cruise lines. But in this special edition, we're going to talk a little bit about some of the great trips we were able to take this year that made a real impression on us. And I know we also wanted to highlight some new developments here at Insider Travel Report. Alan, you could
Well,
take
for
that.
one, this is our very first 4K video. So higher definition is coming to you guys in the future.
So that's great. That's going to be an advancement that you'll see all in 2020. But let's talk a little bit about some of the trips that we had. I think I'll start off since I've done a few. But
You have done a few.
I have done a few, yeah. But the first one that comes up for me was my trip to Fiji. Now, as some of you who have chatted with me before know, this is my second time to Fiji. Sadly, the first time I had to leave after 2 days because a cyclone was coming into town. Now, this was the real time. It was for the Fiji Tourism Expo, and I got to go to some wonderful islands. There are two main islands, and I got to go to one called Vanuatu, and they have a wide assortment of resorts. There's the Jacques Cousteau Fiji Resort, which was wonderful. There's Savasi Island Resort, which is a really rustic, wonderful family-owned property. And then there's Namali, which is a really fabulous property that actually is owned by the famed Tony Roberts. And then I kicked that off at the end. At the end, I got a chance to go to Castaway, which is a resort that's right across from where Tom Hanks actually filmed the movie Castaway. And then right after that, I got to go on a cruise, a 4-day cruise, and it's Captain Cook Fiji Cruises. It's very rustic cruises, but it was a wonderful cruise. So that trip made a real impression on me, and I hope to go back there very soon. Alan, what was yours?
Well, one of my favorites was a crystal cruise to Alaska, where we actually saw the Aurora Borealis. Another trip of note was going to Quito, Ecuador, and being there at I was at 14,000 feet above sea level, and visiting many wonderful churches there. Another great trip was going to the Great Lakes on Victory Cruises and going on the Mississippi with both American Queen and American Cruise Lines.
Yeah, well, those are great trips, and I know you talked a lot about those. You've been doing a lot of river and lake cruising, which has been great. A second trip that I had a 3-week trip to Italy, which sounds wonderful. It was. We really did all of the hotels that are part of Waterstone Marketing Group, and there were several notable ones. I can't talk about them all, but we got to go to a wonderful resort, Forte Village in Sardinia, that is just absolutely wonderful. Has 3-star Michelin dining, all the accoutrements that you need for a fine resort. Also got to go to a wonderful villa complex that's owned by the Ferragamo family. And it's Viesca Toscana, just outside Florence. Another superb one that I had never been to this region of Italy, the Dolomites. Got to see La Perla, which is a wonderful, incredible views of incredible mountains all around during the summer. And finally, spent a lot of time in Rome, going to some wonderful properties. One that I'll always remember, and you may have seen the video, it was an interview I did with the general manager, the managing director, and owner of the Hassler Hotel, Roberto Wirt, who actually is deaf. So that was a bit of a challenge for me, but
And a challenge to edit.
a challenge to edit as well. So but if you get a chance, go back and take a look at it. So that trip to Italy was really superb. And then I capped it all off with a cruise, a river cruise on the Danube to a ship that actually Alan will be going very soon, Amma Magna, we went on the inaugural trip, the inaugural voyage of Amma Magna, the christening trip. And that riverboat, that ship, is really revolutionizing river cruising on the Danube.
Now, one I forgot that really was tremendous was the new Kempinski Resort on the unspoiled island of Dominica. And this was quite a life-changing thing, because this is an island that is untouched, unspoiled, and it's really an adventure island. It's an adventure to get there, and it's an adventure to be there. I really enjoyed that, and the resort was terrific. It's the first resort on the island.
Well, I remember you were there, and you were talking about it. Really is the most luxurious resort on Dominica, and I think you were one of the first guests, if I believe.
I was.
Yeah, and then the last thing I'm going to talk about is really a combination of about 4 different things. These were resorts that I went to that really were notable over the past year. The first one was Devil's Thumb Devil's Thumb Valley Ranch, which is in Colorado. It was really opened my eyes. They have a wonderful facility. There's great hiking. There's horseback riding as much as you want. There's zip lining. There's activity after activity. In the wintertime, it's a great place for you can go downhill skiing, but cross-country skiing is really their forte. And it was really, the food is wonderful. Another resort, actually in the same trip that I went to, was the Los Alcobas Napa Valley, which I've been promising to go to for about 2 years since it opened. When I did there, it's right in the middle of Napa Valley. It's wonderful. It's a great place to go wine tasting, and the facilities are really modern, yet they do have some older buildings as well. So that's another resort. Yet a fourth resort just went to up in Cape Cod, Chatham Bars Inn, which is kind of the quintessential inn located right on the Cape Cod coast. Wonderful place. Went there for Thanksgiving. Would heartily recommend that. And finally, one I just got back from, 7 Stars Resort in Turks and Caicos, which really opened my eyes. I had been to Turks and Caicos before, but to the beaches, Turks and Caicos, which is a little different. This is a wonderful, small boutique resort right on the famed Grace Bay, and it really is a superb place. And they just happen to have a gentleman, the chef, has won the Chef of the Caribbean 2 years in a row. So the food was pretty good too.
So I feel like I've been on all those trips with him because my team is the one that edits them. We have now over 800 videos online, so please watch them and see exactly what we're talking about.
And so I guess that's it. I mean, we go out there to find places that you can recommend to your clients, and hopefully they're helping you, give you some ideas about what to recommend. We wanted to wish you happy holidays from Insider Travel Report.
Now we can take the hats off?
Now we can take the hats off.